My lingering cold would indicate otherwise, but it's officially summer, which side note is why you might be able to hear my fan. But the sun is finally out, it's getting a little bit warmer, and with that, I'm sure a lot of us are extremely excited to refresh our summer wardrobes. But before you go luxury shopping for some new summer staples, I wanted to share with you my thoughts on some very popular summer classics that I would personally call summer basics, because these are the kind of things that kind of look basic at this point. Now, if you love the look of any one of these pieces, you go ahead and enjoy them. Just because I would not spend my money on them, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't either. But I feel like at this point you can do so much better for what these things will cost you. So instead of me just sitting here and criticizing these pieces, I also wanted to offer you some, in my opinion, more unexpected alternatives. And I would also love to know your thoughts in the comment section. Would something being extremely popular stop you from buying that piece, or would you actually find it encouraging just seeing how loved it is? Because when it comes to my personal taste, if I see something over and over again, especially when it's a more pricey piece, that to me just takes away from the charm and the magic of that piece. When I spend so much money on something, I want to get something special. But it's quite an interesting debate. Is something being popular stopping you from spending a lot of money on it, or do you find it reassuring just seeing how loved and how many people get to enjoy that piece? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I would love to hear what you have to say. But anyway, I should stop rambling and get into talking about some extremely popular luxury summer staples that I personally find basic looking, including some very popular pieces from Hermes. So if that sounds interesting to you, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on watching. Let's get my most controversial opinion out of the way, because anytime I talk about this piece in a negative light, so many people get upset with me and so many people disagree with me, which is perfectly fine. The reason I'm bringing it up again is because it's prime time for people to buy this particular piece. And if you have this piece on your radar, I want you to know that you have some other options. This is not the only thing that you can add to your collection, which is the iconic orange sandals from Hermes. I would argue that these are Hermes's most popular and by far most duped sandals, which of course feature the iconic H detail, and by the way, they offer a very similar style for men called the Izmir. The big difference is that the H is slightly bigger and the Izmir is of course a little bit wider just to accommodate wider feet. But whether you go for the Izmir or the Oran, I really don't think that these are anything more than a more refined take on a pair of flip-flops or slippers. So while I don't have any issues with people wearing these to the pool, to the beach, or at a resort, I really cannot wrap my head around why people would wear these to work, to a restaurant, to a more formal event, or even for being out and about in a more urban setting, just basically living your city life, because these shoes really don't belong there. These are just basically a pair of flip-flops. So if you would not feel comfortable wearing a pair of flip-flops to work, why would you feel comfortable wearing these? Especially considering that these shoes are known for being quite uncomfortable. They don't properly adhere to your feet, so you make the weirdest sound as you're walking in them. Especially if you take the stairs, you can hear a person coming from a mile away in these shoes, because the sole of the shoes will start hitting against the sole of the person's foot, obviously because there's nothing to properly attach these shoes to your ankle, so you are just kind of gripping onto the bottom of the shoes for dear life. So they're uncomfortable, they sound weird, they make the cheapest weirdest sound, and your feet will get incredibly dirty. So I really don't think that these shoes belong in the city, and I completely understand the hype. They do look great, they are really flattering for a pair of flip-flops, but they're really nothing more than that. So I would think about it this way: if you don't feel comfortable wearing a pair of flip-flops to wherever you're going, your Orans don't belong there either. So I wanted to give you some better alternatives. Not to say that there isn't a time and a place for the orange sandals. If you are wearing a maxi dress or a summer dress and you're going to the pool, you're going to a barbecue, a garden party, go ahead and enjoy the orange. But I really don't think that these shoes would look great with a pair of jeans, a pair of trousers, unless they are some really summery linen trousers, or with a more formal dress in any shape or form. These shoes are casual, they are just a pair of flip-flops. So if you are looking for a more summery pair of shoes that you can style in a little bit more of an elevated fashion, I would love to put the Santorini sandals on your radar, which are extremely similar to the Oran. The only difference is that you get a tiny bit of a heel detail and a strap that goes around your ankles, which really you wouldn't think makes that much of a difference, but it really does. It really does make these feel more like an actual pair of shoes rather than a pair of slippers. Or I would not overlook Hermes' Muse, especially if you're looking for a pair of shoes that you can wear to work or to a more professional setting in the summer. You are, of course, going to be familiar with the Oz Muse, which are, of course, inspired by the house's twist closure, which most recently they have introduced in a so black finish, but they do different mules almost every single season, which I feel look a lot more refined and a lot more sophisticated than just a pair of slippers. And they also offer the orange style with a little bit of a heel. They actually do them in different heel height, which again I think makes a big difference. But again, there is a time and a place for the Oran, and it's a barbecue, a summer party, the beach, or the pool, and that is it. Not that this next piece isn't popular year-round, but I feel like it really comes into its own in the summer for two reasons. Number one, it's offered in a ton of really fun, vibrant colors, and then two, a lot of Hermes' fashion jewelry can be quite heavy and overbearing, which is just the last thing you want in the summer. You probably don't want to wear a heavy, chunky leather piece that will make your wrist feel like a sauna. So it makes a lot of sense that a lot of people would reach for something like the Click H bracelet from Hermes in the summer. But personally, to me, this is one of Hermes's cheapest, most basic looking pieces. First of all, it's something that has been copied over and over again, and it's one of those pieces that you can pick up for like $10 from Amazon, which to me has definitely cheapened its look, but it's not a particularly expensive looking piece to begin with. I think the quality and the craftsmanship is just extremely subpar, especially considering the price, and even the design itself is not that pretty in my opinion. But if you're not familiar with the Click H bracelet, it's basically a really simple metal bracelet that comes in 3 different metal shades with a little bit of an enamel finish. It's offered not only in solid colors but also in prints. And then on the front you of course have the H turn lock, which actually has a really cool sort of mechanism to it. But another thing to mention here is that it's only offered in I think a few different sizes, so the size range is quite restrictive as well. So you would, in my opinion, struggle to find a size that fits you perfectly. But even if you do, it's really not going to add too much to your collection, and it will not last long either, because these are known for tarnishing, for chipping, for scratching and marking. So whether you buy the real thing or a dupe, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter, because you are not getting something that is well made either way. But I think Hermes has a lot to offer that would be a much better alternative to the Click H. Even though the Click H now you can buy without the H detail, they do it with a Kelly twist closure inspired hardware. I think they've also been doing it with a Shandong motif. So there are definitely some much better options out there if you still love this original design. If you loved the original Click H, I would encourage you to maybe look into the one with the Shandong detail, or maybe look at the one that's fully covered in an enamel print. Or you can of course look at the Kelly take on the Click H, which to me is still not that much better. But instead I would love to steer you in the direction of just the original enamel bangle, which of course will not feature the H detail, but because they don't feature quite as much hardware, it's unlikely that these would chip, mark, and tarnish as quickly as the click bracelets would. And these original enamel bracelets come in a ton of not only incredible colors, but also beautiful prints, most of which pay tribute to the house's scarf archive. My personal enamel bangle for this current season is actually the CDC bangle. I feel like we have been talking a lot about the CDC collection, which makes sense. Hermes is really pushing this particular iconic piece for this upcoming season, which I'm fully endorsing. I am a huge fan of the CDC motif and the CDC design itself. So if you love the idea of the CDC, but you would not want to wear such a heavy, sweaty leather piece in the summer, which that is the right decision. Take it from me. I have tried to wear my CDC in the summer and it was a recipe for disaster. I cannot tell you how hot I felt the entire day. So instead of picking up a CDC for the summer, well, you can of course buy one of the metal cuffs from the CDC collection, which will be a lot lighter. But if you would like to go for something that's even lighter than that, you can now find an enamel bangle that actually features a full-on, almost three-dimensional looking print of the CDC in a couple of different colors. Now this particular piece is slightly more expensive than the thinner enamel bangles, because what you have to know about these bangles is that not only the thicker you go, but the more intricate you go with the print, the more pricey they're going to be. But I do think when it comes to this CDC inspired bracelet, it is actually worth it, because you're not only getting an amazing statement piece that you can wear on its own, but you can also stack your already existing pieces with this particular design. And what I love about these pieces is how beautiful they look against a silk piece. So if you really want to go hard on your Hermes accessories, you can pick up a Twillies or use some Twillies that you already have in your collection as an actual bracelet. So you can tie a Twilly in your hair or even around your wrist and stack that with this particular bracelet, which I think adds the perfect summery touch to any outfit, because believe it or not, Twillies were not actually designed to be worn on bags, but to be actually worn as accessories, so as a little silk scarf around your neck or as a silk piece around your wrist or in your hair. So if you really want to infuse some color and some Hermes print into your outfit, enamel bangles are a great way to go, but don't forget about Twilly. Let's shift gears for a minute and talk about a brand that isn't Hermes, and we're going to be talking about sunglasses, the it sunglasses of the season, which, to be really honest with you, I don't think I can see one more of, because every other girl and guy is wearing these sunglasses, and I really think that they have become way overdone, which is actually a pair of sunglasses from CELINE. Don't get me wrong, I do love CELINE sunglasses, but this I cannot see any more of, which is the Triumph metal sunglasses. They come in either silver or gold, and I really don't like either one of them. I actually used to like them a lot, but just the fact that every other person is wearing them, to me, has really ruined the charm. So instead of buying these sunglasses, which will make you look really quite basic, I would encourage you to look at Bottega sunglasses. Bottega has a ton of amazing sunglasses to offer. I am personally a huge fan of their new drop aviators, which I completely understand is a very different style from the Triumph metal. But if you are looking for a pair of statement aviators or a pair of statement sunglasses, the drop sunglasses I think are a much better alternative. They are a lot more unique, but if you don't like a black frame, they also do the sardine sunglasses, which feature the iconic sardine, that beautiful sculptural handle that you might have seen on some of Bottega's bags. They actually turned that architectural detail into a feature on their sunglasses, but they also have some more subtle cat eye shapes. So you have a lot of amazing designs to choose from depending on what you are looking for. But if you're looking for a statement piece, something that will be a true accessory, I would really highly encourage you to look at the drop sunglasses. And it's funny that I'm actually bringing those up because I cannot stand the drop earrings from Bottega, which again, I feel like is one of those pieces that every other person seems to be wearing. And that's not because everyone has the original Bottega earrings, but because every single high street jewelry brand tried to copy those. So those are another summer no-go for me, even though I used to love the original design of the Bottega drop earrings. Please do not get them, or if you're gonna get them, don't get them from Bottega at this point, because there are so many dupes out there which you can pick up for a fraction of the price, and you can really not tell the difference. If you are going to spend a lot of money on a pair of designer earrings, get a different design from Bottega. They have so many incredible designs. They have, I think they have one called the concave earring, which has a similar modern architectural look and feel to it, but it feels a lot more unique than the drop earrings at this point. They have some really cool modern takes on pearl earrings. So Bottega really has a lot to offer, but those drop earrings I would really not spend your hard-earned money on, because they really just look and feel basic at this point. Anytime I see another person wearing them, I'm just like, individual style is dead at this point. We all try to look the exact same. So the CELINE sunglasses are a no-go for me, and so are the drop earrings. Instead of the drop earrings, look at some of Bottega's other creations. I'll link some of my favorites down below for you. And then instead of the CELINE metal sunglasses, please try to find something a little bit more unique and something that actually reflects your personal style. And I feel like Bottega has a really rich collection for you to pick from. With it being summer, I really hope you have some fun trips and adventures planned. And was Cream's luxury lover more while traveling than a Louis Vuitton duffel or a Louis Vuitton carry-on, which are two things I would personally not buy. I, first of all, don't like the design. I don't really think that they are very unique. They're kind of predictable, expected, and basic at this point. Not to mention that I would never spend so much money on a carry-on specifically because these are not things that you can look after. I mean, when you are running between gates, when you are boarding a flight, you are going to put your suitcases through a lot. Even if you exclusively fly business, you will still be asked to put your bag in the overhead bin, which is very often full. Things can scratch your luggage while it's in there. They can rub against it. They can mark it and scratch it. If you're spending a lot of money on a travel bag like the Louis Vuitton duffel that you can slide underneath the seat in front of you, you never know what's hiding down there. And the last thing you want when you're traveling is stressing about your luggage. Not to mention that sometimes you'll be asked to check in your bag, and I doubt you want to check a $5,000 suitcase in that you know they'll put through hell. I mean, those luggages get kicked and shoved and thrown, and there's really nothing you can do about it. So personally, I would not spend a lot of money on a carry-on or even on a Louis Vuitton duffel. Probably when it comes to the duffel, it's mainly because of the monogram. Is just not something that I personally want in my life, especially with everything going on in the world. I think the last thing you need when traveling to somewhere where you've never been before is unwanted attention. So personally for me, the Louis Vuitton travel range would be a no-go unless you exclusively fly private, in which case you'll probably have someone who helps you with your bags. But the Louis Vuitton carry-on and Louis Vuitton duffels are just not for me. But if you are looking for a designer duffel, I do love some of the, I think they're called literally the giant duffels by YSL. These duffels are part of their men's collection. They come in regular leather and they also come in suede. And in my opinion, they look a lot more refined than any one of Louis Vuitton's duffels. But if you are trying to stay loyal to Louis Vuitton, considering that travel and travel accessories is what they are best known for, or what they used to be best known for. I mean, that's how the brand started. I would encourage you to look at some of their duffels in epi leather. I'm not sure if those are currently being offered, but I'm sure you can find them on the pre-loved market at much better prices, considering that the less loud something is, the less expensive it's going to be on the pre-loved market. So if you love the sound of the Louis Vuitton duffel, you can actually find them in solid leather, which in my opinion would be a much better choice. But do keep in mind that they're probably going to be slightly heavier. And then Bottega also has some beautiful duffels that feature their iconic woven leather detail, but those are going to set you back a pretty penny. And again, I'm not sure if you want to spend so much money on something that you really cannot look after. I don't know if it's just me, if I'm too careful with my luxury things, but it's something that you have to keep in mind, but I much prefer the Bottega duffel. Bottega also has some oversized totes that I think would be a much better alternative. And if you want something really easy and carefree, the Garden Party Voyage is something else for you to look into from Hermes, which comes in size 49. And because those bags are made of canvas, they are inherently more lightweight. But if you're looking for something a little bit more elegant and a little bit more refined, don't forget about some of the, at this point, discontinued Hermes travel bags like the Victoria duffel, which is an incredibly crafted bag. It would probably set you back close to $10,000 directly from the store, but because the Victoria range is not so well known, you can find these things for pennies on the pre-loved market. So look for things like the Hermes Victoria range or any one of the Hermes Voyage pieces, which will be a lot more affordable and a lot more refined than any one of the more popular designer alternatives out there. But if you're looking for something brand new, the YSL duffels, in my opinion, are a great piece to have in your collection. And for how much bag you're getting, I actually think that they are surprisingly reasonably priced. And last but not least, let's talk about all the mini Kellys that we'll see in every single shade of the rainbow on our social media feeds this summer. Because I'm not sure what's happened with this bag, but it has become so insanely overdone that I cannot wrap my head around it. I don't think there's ever been a bag that I've been so put off as I have been of the Mini Kelly. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but every other person seems to have this bag in their collection, which I'm not sure how that's possible, because obviously I have bought a handful of Mini Kellys over the years. So I know from firsthand experience how tough they are to get. I'm not sure if it's because of the pre-loved market or because of dupes and replicas being out there, but every other person seems to have this bag. I mean, you can watch TV, you can go on social media, you can watch a movie. I can guarantee that you will see this bag make an appearance in some shape or form, and I really don't get it. I think it's really off-putting how just basic this bag has become. I mean, even my friends who don't know anything about Hermes and have no investment in the brand whatsoever, even they know about this bag and would consider buying one. So I don't really know what's happened, what Hermes has done with this bag, but it has really been a lot. So I would definitely not encourage you to buy this bag, especially considering that these are some of Hermes's most poorly made bags. I mean, if you compare a Mini Kelly side by side with a Kelly 25, a Kelly 28, it doesn't even feel like the same bag, even though of course they're part of the same family. First of all, they're not made by the same people because there is a dedicated team who exclusively works on Mini Kellys. And it's not the same craftspeople who work on the Kelly 25s and the Kelly 28s. They do not feel like the same bags. I do think that the quality is a lot more underwhelming. And I guess it's understandable because it is a smaller bag. So I would assume that it's a little bit tougher getting into all the corners and being as meticulous as you can be on a larger bag, because it's simply harder to get to all the little details. But so many people have had issues with their Mini Kellys. I have seen firsthand how crooked some Mini Kellys can be. So the flap is something that you always want to pay attention to. If you are picking up a Mini Kelly, make sure that your flap is perfectly straight. Look at the handle, because a lot of people have issues with their handles. The sizing of the Mini Kelly, obviously no two Hermes bags are made equal because they're handmade, so they're is always going to be a little bit of a variation, but Mini Kellys are known for being all over the place. The twist closure can be quite tough on the Mini Kelly because it's not the same twist closure that is used on other Kelly bags. It is obviously a shrunken version of it, so a lot of people have had issues with that. The straps are never the same length, and the stitching tends to be quite underwhelming and quite poorly done on the Mini Kellys specifically. Not to mention that they are a pain to get in and out of because they're not only a small bag, but they're exclusively offered in CELINE structure, which means that the opening is quite restricted. So there is a lot to be said about the Mini Kelly, and if you would like to hear my most up-to-date thoughts on that bag, I recently did a comparison video between the Mini Kelly and the Kelly Pochette, which I can make sure to link up here for you. Long story short, the Mini Kelly is not my favorite bag at this point, actually far from that. So I would encourage you to look into the Kelly Pochette instead of the Mini Kelly for the summer if you are looking for a Kelly inspired bag. But another mini bag that I think is extremely overlooked and underrated from the Hermes range is the Mini Bolide. It is definitely one of my favorite mini bags that Hermes has ever done. So the Bolide bag is of course offered in a ton of different sizes, colors and finishes, but the Mini Bolide I think would be the perfect summer accessory to have in your collection, especially considering that it not only comes with the cutest little handles, but it also features a shoulder strap, which is actually identical to the shoulder strap on the Mini Kelly. The Bolide has been around for decades. It was actually the very first bag to ever feature a zip closure, and it was specifically designed for traveling. The reason it has this curved edge is so it could seamlessly fit into the trunks of cars back in the day. So it is just a really special, really unique bag. I love all the finishes, all the colors it's available in, and you can also find these bags in exotic leathers, and on the pre-loved market they are a lot more reasonably priced than any other Hermes bag, just because they're simply not as often discussed and not as hyped, which I actually think adds to the value of these bags. But the Kelly Pochette, of course, is another thing that you can consider. The CELINE, rumor has it, will eventually replace the Mini Kelly, which I don't think those two bags can be mentioned on the same page. But if you're looking for a slightly more fresh take on the CELINE is another piece to look into. And then if you're not an Hermes fan, or you just simply cannot get your hands on any one of these mini bags directly from the store, and you do not feel comfortable with spending the premium on the pre-loved market, don't forget about the extra pockets from Loro Piana, which not only give a similar facet to your collection, but are also exquisitely crafted. But my friends, what do you think about these popular luxury summer staples, as some would call them? I cannot wait to hear your review on these pieces. I'm sure a lot of you will own a lot of these pieces. I cannot wait to hear your personal experience and whether or not you would feel comfortable buying them at this point. If you bought them back in the day, would you spend your money on these pieces again, knowing what you know now? I cannot wait to hear from you. And while you're down there letting me know your thoughts in the comment section, make sure to also give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I will see you back here with a new video really soon.